Welcome, people, to Green Health Live. I'm your host, Mark Ryan, licensed acupuncturist and herbalist. In each of our shows, we look at environmental issues and how they impact our health. And we look at them in three different ways: how they affect our bodies, how they affect the spaces around us, and how they affect the larger world and what the implications are. We want to help you connect the dots so you can see these aren't just environmental issues, they're social issues, they're economic issues, they are public health issues. They affect every one of us every day. In today's show, we're taking a look at formaldehyde. Formaldehyde is popular for its use in embalming. It's also used in tons of commercial products. The World Health Organization, many scientists in the US, and the US government have all identified formaldehyde as a carcinogen. That means it causes cancer. Recently, formaldehyde was also in the news because Johnson & Johnson, to its credit, and also because it bowed to consumer pressure, decided to stop using formaldehyde in its baby products. Aww. Now for the scary part. Formaldehyde has been linked to many different cancers, but particularly cancers of the nose and the throat, and cancers of the lymphatic system and the blood, like Hodgkin's lymphoma and leukemia. The real issue with formaldehyde and many of these other environmental toxins is that your body can't get rid of them. And it ends up causing inflammation. And this inflammation becomes the foundation for many of the most deadly diseases in our culture, like cancer and autoimmune disease and heart disease and type 2 diabetes. It's not just formaldehyde. There are many, many toxic chemicals that we're exposed to every day, and they're totally unregulated and uncontrolled. Formaldehyde is here, and here, and here, and here, and here too, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here. In 2009, the California Energy Commission tested lots of homes here in California, and they found that every single one of them had formaldehyde levels that were higher than safe guidelines. Every one. So what can you do to reduce formaldehyde levels in your living spaces? I'm going to give you 5 simple tips right now. Open your windows. Get airflow into your space. Ask for plywood and furniture that doesn't have formaldehyde-based glues. Keep the humidity down. If it's very humid, use a dehumidifier. The cabinets and furniture that you already have that may have formaldehyde, you can seal the inside to keep the formaldehyde in. And don't buy products with formaldehyde. Take a look at the label. Check what you're buying. Also, I'm going to give you a great resource. It's EWG.org. That's the Environmental Working Group's website. They have an amazing database of lots of products and what chemicals are in them. Before you buy a product, go there and check it out. Okay, let's take a look at formaldehyde in the context of the larger world. And how did it get to be this way? Well, first of all, formaldehyde has its own website. It's formaldehydefacts.org. It's a .org. Formaldehyde also has its own lobby in Washington. It's called the American Chemistry Council. And currently they are preventing the United States government from telling all of us that formaldehyde may cause cancer. And why would they do that? Well, for the same reason that the tobacco industry didn't want you to know that tobacco causes cancer. Because they make a lot of money from it and they don't want to do anything that might confuse you regarding formaldehyde. What's interesting is the American Chemistry Council uses the exact same tactics as the tobacco industry. The reason we know this is there's a group called the NRDC, which stands for the Natural Resource Defense Council, and they fight against these big corporations. And they broke down the defense in a very simple way. They call it the 4-dog defense. So I want to break it down for you. The 4-dog defense is basically a legal game that prevents any action from being taken around this harmful substance. So number 1, my dog doesn't bite. So in other words, here the company says, well, yeah, no, our product doesn't harm anybody. That's a bunch of nonsense. All those studies are crap. We'll do our own studies where we've shown, no, this doesn't hurt anybody. The second one is, my dog bites, but it didn't bite you. So in other words, yeah, this substance may be harmful, but nobody's really exposed to it. The third one is, yeah, my dog bit you, but it didn't hurt. So in other words, yeah, this is a harmful substance, but only in really, really big doses and not really in the real world. And basically all those studies with animals, well, those are animals, they're not people, and it's not really true. And the fourth defense is, yeah, my dog bit you, and yeah, it hurt you, but it wasn't my fault. So in other words, yes, this is a harmful substance, and yeah, you might have gotten sick, but it wasn't our fault. We didn't know any better. The studies were inconclusive. Or now we know tobacco does cause cancer, we can blame smoking. Get the smokers, that's why they got sick. It wasn't formaldehyde. Or because they don't exercise enough, or any number of excuses. So the four-dog defense is used for many different harmful substances, and the whole purpose is to delay any action at all. So currently the American Chemistry Council is blocking Congress from taking action by saying we need to do another study, another review, and in that time nothing happens. And this happens again and again and again for years and years. Meanwhile, many people are exposed to this, they're getting sick, and they're laying the foundation for cancer. And just to give you a sense of the scope of this, there are currently about 500 chemicals that they're playing this little four dogs game with. And 300 or 400 of them have been in this merry-go-round for over 10 years. So the US government does about 9 assessments per year. It did 2 per year when George Bush was president. And at that rate, if you do the math, it's going to be about 55 years before anything is done with all of these toxic substances. Bottom line, corporations have to answer to their shareholders. They're there to make money. And one way that they ensure that they keep making money is by suppressing information. So you're not going to get this information unless you find it yourself. So that's why we created this show, to get you this information. Change can happen on a local level. In our next show, we're going to take a look at an organization here in the Port of Los Angeles called the Harbor Community Benefit Foundation. It was formed by a group of activists who took the fight to a big corporation that was a major polluter in the area. And they used truth to get justice. And that's why we're here, to help empower you to do the same. Thank you so much for joining us. And we want to hear from you. If you have any stories like this or things you want to teach us about, please share them with us. My name is Mark Ryan. The show is Green Health Live. Be well, do good work, and have fun, people.